Any other young millennials here do the online dating thing? Once. Everybody's about that feeling on it. Yeah. I'm online dating. It's going okay. The problem is it doesn't seem like whatever app I'm using, whether it's Bumble, Tinder, Hinge, Pokemon Go. All these girls just want one thing. They're all looking for a man with adventure. They want an adventurous guy. And I show up wearing a full suit of armor, telling them that the beacons are lit and Gondor calls parade. And suddenly I'm the weird guy. I don't get what they're really looking for here. Turns out what they mean by adventure is they want a guy who likes hiking. Let's get one thing clear. Hiking's not an adventure. You're literally going where other people have gone before. You didn't blaze that trail yourself. It's maybe a new experience for your dog, and that's just because he hasn't smelled every inch of it yet. Like, you want an adventure on a hike? Go off the trail. Go get lost. Go be the people that need the helicopters called. That's an adventure. That's a story. The Oregon Trail, that was an adventure. Griffith Park, not really an adventure, unless you just crash a quinceañera. Then you gotta, again, adventure, new experience. Don't just go hiking again just to be outside. It's not even dangerous. Like, you can't even get dysentery on a hike anymore. You're not venturing anything, is what I'm trying to say. My favorite thing about being a millennial is that everybody just shits on you for things that you just didn't do in the first place. My favorite thing, I have a Chrome extension, which, by the way, anybody still use Firefox here? Yeah? Still deleting our search history manually like savages? Because you don't like that incognito mode? Like, Google's the best browser because it was hard-coded from the ground up to work with people browsing porn. That's why it's the best browser. It's also the fastest because of that. Anyway, Chrome extensions, they change your life. My favorite one is called Millennials to Snake People. It does exactly what you think it does. It takes any instance of the word millennial on a search page and changes it to snake people. It's my favorite type of Chrome extension because you forget you have it installed until it triggers. So you'll just be bored at work scrolling through articles and then you just see a random title leap out. Snake people! They're not buying houses! What are we gonna do? I didn't realize the Serpent Kingdom was such a big segment of the housing market. It's bad, you guys. Us snake people, we're not buying any houses, we're not starting any families. It's hard to keep your eggs warm. That's why we made the climate change. So we just don't have to incubate any longer. Clearly. The plan's all coming to fruition. It's good. Let's see. This is a pretty nerdy room, so I'm gonna go out on a limb here with you guys. I'm gonna open up. Guys, I don't like Harry Potter. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't like Harry Potter. Look, I got a rationale, Ron. Calm down.
Serial killer.
Calm down. So I don't like Harry Potter. It's not like, and I get it. Like it's British prep school drama with magic. That's great. Here's my thing. How are you gonna have a world where magic is real, but the kids still have to wear glasses? Huh? If magic is real, why do they have to line up at lens crafters like everybody else? They got a potion that can regrow bones, but everybody still has to get contacts? Come on, that's not realistic. The other reason I don't like Harry Potter, Voldemort's a shitty villain, you guys. And I don't mean like he's a bad dude, like he's bad at being evil, okay? He's the most powerful dark wizard in the kingdom, doesn't have any designs to overthrow the queen or anything, doesn't really try and like take over the world. He just attacks a school 7 times and gets stopped by the students 7 times. He's a school shooter with a wand, and a bad one at that. That's what I'm trying to say. The thing that I do really get into though is Star Wars. I'm super pumped for Rogue One.
Yeah!
I think Ray's gonna be up here a little later, so you guys will get a treat out of that. But I like Star Wars, but I have these problems talking to other people about Star Wars. Like, and I get it, it was a good movie. We needed a good Star Wars movie for a while. And everybody feels like they can wear Star Wars t-shirts out in public again. I'm not there yet, you guys, and I'll give you a little hypothetical, show you why. Picture me walking along wearing a Star Wars t-shirt, you know, Imperial Walker just crushing the rebels like he does. And some other guy comes up to me and he's like, hey man, that's a cool AT-AT t-shirt. And I gotta stop whatever I'm doing and be like, actually, it's pronounced AT-AT, which is short for All-Terrain Armored Transport. Now, the All-Terrain Armored Transport, originally commissioned at the Kuat Drive Yards 4 years before the Battle of Yavin, was a symbol for the Galactic Empire's military might, along with the Imperial Star Destroyer, coincidentally also manufactured at the Kuat Drive Yards. That's why I can't wear a Star Wars t-shirt in public, you guys.
Every reason to wear it in public.
I'm in too deep. That's the problem. Like, I have things to do, places to be. I can't defend the Imperium over and over again in front of complete strangers. They're just gonna think I'm some monster who knows way too much about Boba Fett. Boba Fett, incidentally, one of the greatest minimalist character studies in American cinema. If you think Boba Fett's a boring dude who does nothing in the movies, I will fight you outside later. But so I talked to a lot of other nerds about Star Wars, and they're like, I don't know, man, like The Force Awakens was kind of derivative. Like, it just sort of felt like a remake of the original Star Wars. I was like, hold on, you think a Star Wars movie's derivative? You realize white people only have one story, right? Star Wars itself is derivative, okay? It's not that The Force Awakens is derivative of other Star Wars movies. Star Wars itself is derivative of the entire Western mythology. White people only have one story. Star Wars is just the version of that with laser swords, okay? Everybody in here's seen at least one Star Wars film, right? Cool. Real quick plot summary for everybody. Luke Skywalker is a boy living on the wasteland planet of Tatooine, born to uncertain parents. Luke meets a wizard named Obi-Wan Kenobi. Obi-Wan entrusts unto Luke a mystical sword called a lightsaber. Luke then takes this lightsaber and goes to confront Darth Vader, who leads the Galactic Empire, and it turns out Darth Vader's his dad. Anybody in here read King Arthur? Real quick plot points of King Arthur, in case it's been a while since lit class. Arthur's a boy living in the wasteland, born to uncertain parents. Arthur meets a wizard named Merlin. Merlin entrusts unto Arthur the mystical sword Excalibur. Arthur takes Excalibur and goes to confront the king, Uther Pendragon, and it turns out Uther's his dad. They're the same story. If you think Star Wars is derivative, take it up with Gilgamesh. I do get really sad sometimes though whenever I watch like a sci-fi movie or something, just because art imitates life a little too seriously sometimes. I was watching this film Pacific Rim the other day. Great movie, but something about it troubled me. In this film they've got these monsters and they're coming into our cities, and frankly they're not sending their best people. They're murderers, they're rapists, and some of them, hashtag not all kaiju, I assume are good people. But the politicians in this movie have a plan to beat the monsters. They're gonna build a wall. And the monsters are gonna pay for it or something. So they build this wall and the monsters tear through that shit in 5 seconds. Guys, that's a plot device in a blockbuster film that's nearly 4 years old. That's also the central plank in a major American political party's platform in real life. What I'm trying to say is that we're going in circles and nothing changes. I do get sad though, basically just because like Star Trek will never happen in our lifetimes. Like those spaceships look so cool. And we're still basically just sending up missiles with chairs at the top. Right? Like, that's the bad thing about science fiction versus science fact. Like, actual science isn't about what's sexy and cool. Actual science is just about reproducible results. We got a bunch of Nazi scientists at the end of World War II who only knew about rockets. And we were like, hey Werner, you know those rockets you're shooting into Polish villages? Can you maybe just like point those up and go to space? He was like, we put the chair at the top and we try. And they did it. They stuck a monkey in the top and it worked. That's our space program. We haven't had to deviate from that script because it still works. So, you know, that's a problem. The International Space Station, like, you see, like, Deep Space Nine or the Death Star, they've got these big, sexy, sweeping curves and trenches and all that. The International Space Station is just a cable TV antenna floating out there in the black. I mean, it's cool because you can just stick new shit on whenever you want. That's the cool thing about building in space. It's the ultimate manifest destiny. Space is the one thing you'll never run out of in space. That's why they call it space. There's always more of it. That's why the space program is a really important voting issue for me at the polls. Bernie had a good idea for keeping NASA funded. I feel like Hillary's, like, she's gonna get there. She doesn't have a plan for it now, but that's fine. She has to finish this Lannister crusade she's on to kill everyone who's ever wronged her. I'm totally fine with that. She's gotta live her truth, do her thing. I get it. I want to leave you guys with a story, if I can. Guys, I want to be honest. I took a shit the other day. I was on the toilet taking a dump. This was a sizable turd, like a really big bowel movement. It was painful to pass, is what I'm trying to say. So once I heard it drop in, I did what any red-blooded American man does, and I got up and had to inspect my handiwork. Guys, there was nothing in the bowl. There was nothing in the bowl. I go to wipe, paper comes up, sheet white. I have no physical proof that this turd happened beyond the sensation I felt as it left my body. It was a ghost poop, you guys. I have a moral in this story. Guys, we're all that ghost poop, okay? None of us leave anything of any permanence in this world beyond the sensations we impart to other people as we move past them. I mean, Ager, that's been my time. Thank you. Good night.